Amplify this. Here is a Hand of the Week blast, baby, from the Sundance Poker Festival 2006. On Saturday night, I played MC at A-Rod's star-studded charity event in Miami, teasing the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Tom Brady. Then on Sunday night, I was MC at the star-studded W Las Vegas Hotel Casino and Residence poker event at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City. Saturday night, A-Rod. Sunday night, Sundance Film Festival, and I'm emceeing both events. I'd flown from the heat of Miami to the frigid mountains of Utah. In Miami, I drank nothing, and I did not play in the tournament. But at Sundance, I drank Dom Perignon and joined the 50-player event. After all, first place at Sundance was a $700,000 Las Vegas condo to be built in 2008 at the W. And since I wasn't getting paid to comment, or to commentate, I wanted a shot at winning it. But I really wasn't thinking about winning it. The event at Park City had a great vibe, with a huge audience watching players like Laura Papon, Shannon Elizabeth, Gina Gershon, Danny and Chris Masterson, Kevin Smith, Emile Hirsch, Good Charlottes, Benji and Joe Madden, Dave Navarro, with Carmen Electra sitting behind him, Lance Bass, DJ AM, Summer Alstus, Ann Hesh, and poker pros Annie Duke, Phil Gordon, Phil the Unabomber Locke, and Antonio the Magician Esfandiari, and semi-pro poker player and W Las Vegas founder Reagan Silber, to name a few. The crowd was watching us play in a huge white tent with a DJ and video monitors covering the action. It was a beautiful night for me, literally, for I had Ann Hesh, Laura Papon, Shannon Elizabeth, and Gina Gershon all sitting next to me throughout the night. Man, they're all so beautiful. The four of them also played No Limit Hold'em really well and handled themselves with class. Papon lost all her chips on a coin flip with her ace-queen versus pocket sevens. She was an 11-10 underdog when the chips went in before the flop. Going out with ace-queen was very respectable. As 50 players became 40, I was still in there, with 1,200 of my 2,500 in starting chips. But who cared about playing poker? I was there to MC, I was there to watch films, and I was there to enjoy the Sundance atmosphere. As I walked table to table, announcing hands, needling the stars, giving them props, trying to inject a little more energy into the room, I barely looked at 40% of the hands that were dealt to me. It seemed as if every time I sat down, someone would call me over to announce a celebrity hand somewhere else, which was okay with me. With 35 players left, the blinds at 75, 150, and a raise in front of me of 400 to go, I looked down at ace of hearts, queen of hearts, and moved all in. Annie Duke now grabbed the microphone to announce my all-in hand against my opponent's king of diamonds, queen of diamonds. Annie announced correctly that my ace-queen was a 2.5 to 1 favorite to win the pot over the king of diamonds, queen of diamonds. Then the flop shocked the room and me when it came down ace of diamonds, ace of spades, ace of clubs. I had flopped 4 aces, and someone in the room, some genius in the room, ran the numbers and declared that it was a 16,000 to 1 shot. The very next hand I raised it up with king, queen, and the big blind player called me with ace 10. The flop came down jack 9-4. He checked, I checked. Then a 10 on the turn made me the king high straight, and now my opponent bet out $1,000, and I decided that I needed to raise it up right then and there and make it 2,000 to go. I didn't want a straight card to come on the end and scare him away. My opponent studied, then raised my last 200, and Annie was on the microphone again, announcing another Helmuth all-in. But this time there was no need to announce, as my opponent was drawing dead. When he hit the final 2 tables with 18 players remaining, I had 24,000 in chips, and now I only had to walk a few feet to announce the other table's hands. At this point, I was looking at almost every hand, and by now I'd stopped drinking Dom Perignon, which I was buying for my table. I truly don't understand it. Are you all trying to lose to me? I still had a shot at winning this thing, but I still wasn't thinking too much about that possibility. I mean, it's an all-or-nothing deal, as Duke cleverly announced later, First place is a big house, and second place is a television. I was still content to MC, and I was having a ball doing it. When we hit the final table, Chris Masterson from Malcolm in the Middle had the chip lead with 40,000 chips. But I was right in his tail with 35,000 or so. Now I didn't have to stand up anymore since I could announce the hands right from my seat at the table. Amazingly, I had drawn the same seat at the same table that I'd occupied all day long. We had had 5 starting tables, and I happened to draw what would be the final table, the one that never broke down, and then drew the 5 seat again on the redraw. Also at the final table, Annie Duke made it, Gina Gershon made it, Shannon Elizabeth made it, and our host and founder of the W Las Vegas, Reagan Silber. Gershon finished 6th when her King of Hearts, Deuce of Hearts failed to beat Silber's King King for a huge pot. She had to be over a 13-1 underdog with that hand. Elizabeth finished 5th when her King 7 failed to outdraw Masterson's Ace 10. She was over a 3-2 underdog with her King 7. Duke, roughly a 3-2 underdog with her Queen 10, lost to Reagan's Ace 4, all in before the flop, and she finished in 4th place. Suddenly it was Masterson, Silber, and I, and we all had roughly the same number of chips. One of us would win the $700,000 fully furnished condo. Earlier in the night, I had very publicly and teasingly announced that there's no way Reagan Silber could win this thing. Perhaps I was about to eat my words. At this point, I asked Reagan to make a deal. Rago, let's make a deal. Could I cash in my chips for a $300,000 down payment on the W Las Vegas penthouse unit that I already ordered? That would effectively give him $400,000 to my $300,000. As he considered my offer, his partners pointed out to him that there were tax consequences involved, so we were forced to play for it all. So much for the lighthearted mood I'd felt. I mean, you know, I'm drinking Dom Perignon. I'm having a great time at the Sundance Film Festival, you know, announcing all of this stuff, lighthearted mood, and all of a sudden I'm playing heads up for $700,000. Wow. As Duke so adeptly kept announcing on the microphone, she had taken over the MC role again. First place was a house, a fine house, and second place was a TV. Before long, Annie pointed out that I hadn't said a single word in almost 10 minutes. No wonder. The sudden change in pressure. We were now playing $700,000 heads up. Had me in shock, but it also heightened my focus and resolve. About 80 grueling minutes later, with the blinds of $3,000, $6,000, and a $1,000 ante, Rago opened for $12,000 on the button. I looked down at 9 of diamonds, 3 of diamonds. Because there was already $20,000 in the pot, he made the minimum raise. It was only $6,000 more to call. I felt I was priced in. So I called, and the flop came down Jack of spades, 4 of diamonds, 3 of hearts. And I just went ahead and moved all in. Reagan called quickly and flipped up pocket queens. Uh-oh. Reagan had me covered, and he had to be at least a 4-1 favorite to win the title in the condo. Of course, he owns the whole building. I thought to myself that it was about time I got lucky in a key pot. And when the ace of diamonds came up on the turn to give me a flush draw, I could now win with a 3, a 9, or a diamond. I had a strong feeling that I would win the pot, even though I was still over a 2-1 underdog. 2 3s, 3 9s, 9 diamonds, or 14 winners versus 30 losers. Sure enough, the last card was a Jack of diamonds to complete my flush. Wow! I had outdrawn someone in a key situation. But I still had a long way to go to turn that into something tangible. Reagan was playing a super tough game, and he really deserved to win the pot and the title with his pocket queens. But what was he going to do with another condo? After all, he's the founder of the whole project. After that hand, I ramped up my aggression, moving all in. The very next hand was 6-4 offsuit. Hearing Reagan say, "I fold," was music to my ears. I moved all in again 2 hands later with King Deuce, and Reagan folded again. The next hand he opened for another minimum raise of $12,000 to go, and again I felt I was priced in with my super weak Deuce 3. 3 of spades, Deuce of spades. So I called. The flop was 7 of spades, 6 of spades, 5 of hearts. And I moved all in with my big drawing hand. I needed a spade for a flush or a 4 for a straight. Rago, who had flopped 2 pair with his 7-5, called instantly. Since I had him covered, if I won the pot, I would win the tournament. Still, Rego was a small favorite to win with his 2-pair. By the way, the 5 of spades was not a winning card for me, since it would make him a full house. The turn of card was the king of diamonds, and the river was shockingly the 4 of hearts to give me my straight. It was over. I'd won my first tournament of 2006, though it won't show up in the history-making stats, and it was more or less by accident that I won. Still, I'll take it, baby. I amplify. Do you?